Hello everybody, happy Monday. Sorry, I had to redo this video. Someone told me that there was no sound. So round 2 on the video. All right, hopefully everybody's doing great. And I miss everyone. And that you and your family are all doing amazing. So let's get started. Today we're gonna go over lesson 18-1 from your book. Let's go over some vocabulary first. Okay, so we're going to go over maxima and minima, and that is known as an extrema. Okay, I'm going to show you what that looks like. They are the greatest value, which is called the maximum, or the least value, which is called the minimum, of a function over an interval or the entire domain. When referring to an extrema that occurs within a specific interval of the domain, they are called relative extrema. So we have relative extrema, which can be relative maxima or relative minima. So we call it relative max or relative min. When referring to values that are extrema for the entire domain of the function, they are called global extrema. That means the greatest max or the lowest min. All right, so let's start by reading this graph. We're going to start here, and we're going to look at a decreasing, or we're going to start here looking at this function here starts to decrease, is decreasing, 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 and right here is where it changes. It's going to change, and it's going to start going to increasing, increasing, increasing. Okay, and where it changes from decreasing to increasing, that's called right here is the minimum. Okay, and then we went from increasing, 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 and then all of a sudden it changes and it goes to decreasing, decreasing, decreasing. So this point right here is called the maximum. Okay, and we're going to go over this more. We'll look into it more when we do our delta math assignment. So this is a minimum. So it's kind of like the bottom of the valley. This is the bottom of the valley. This is the top of the mountain, right? Is the max. Okay. Okay, then we also, when we look at reading graphs, it's called either concave up or concave down. Now, concave up is, for example, like here, where it's going like a bowl, right? This bowl is, you're going to fill it up with cereal. My favorite's Cookie Crisp. And then this would be considered concave up, your bowl, right? If you flip your bowl upside down, this is called concave down, okay? And right here, where it changes from concave up to concave down, this is called the inflection point. Okay, so let's go over some delta math problems that we're going to do on the delta math assignment. All right, so we're going to start with answering this question. What is the degree of this function, this polynomial function? So let's go to, okay, degree. What is the degree of the function? Well, to look at the degree of the function, I'm going to look at the end arrows. Okay, so here I have this guy goes down and this end goes up. Okay, and because they point in opposite directions, this is going to be considered an odd function. Okay, so the degree is odd because the end arrows or the end behavior of this polynomial function is opposite. Okay, so now we're going to do the leading coefficient. So LC for leading coefficient. Okay, and same thing, we're going to look at the end behavior. End behavior. And let's look at the right side. On the right side, which is this side, it goes, points in the up direction, and the left is down. So because the right is up and the left is down, this is going to be a positive leading coefficient. So here we would put positive, okay? All right, so how many real zeros do we have? Now, to figure out how many real zeros we have, we are going to look at how many times it crosses this x-axis. So when our function f of x is equal to 0, what values do we find for our x? Okay, so here is one, here's another one. So you can just mark where it either touches or points, or crosses, I'm sorry, the x-axis. So here we have 4 real zeros. Okay, and now it's asking here for relative extreme values. That means max or mins, both, because it's just asking for the relative extremes. All right, so let's mark those. Here is a max, here is a min, here is a max, and here is a min. Max, min, max, min. All right, and that means we have 4. Okay, and that means my function most likely is going to be an x to the 5th power, which is odd. Yes, it is. The 5th power is odd. And I know this because I did 4 plus 1. So I count kind of all the relative extremes and add 1, and that gives me my power. Okay, so that's the highest power for this polynomial. Okay, including if it has a coefficient, if it has any other terms. Okay, so let's go to the next one. All right, same thing. This one's a little different, a different example. So we first have to come up with what is the degree of this function. Oop, did I not even spell that right? Okay, what is the degree? All right, so let's look at the end behaviors here. This one is up and this one is down. All right, so let's look at the right side. Always look at the right side first. It is down, and the left is up. This is right, this is the left side. So this is a odd degree polynomial. Okay, and let's look at the leading coefficient, if it's negative or positive. So leading coefficient. Okay, we're going to look at the end behavior. Oh, this one's opposite. So if it's opposite, it's odd. Okay. My bad. End behavior. Okay, so let's look at the right. Now this is when we look at right, left. This is down on the right, and left is up. All right, so because my end behavior on the right is down, this is going to be a negative coefficient, just like negative x cubed. Okay, now let's look at the real zeros. So we're going to look at where it crosses the x-axis. So when our function is equal to 0, or y is equal to 0, our x values are going to be what? Well, it crosses here, it touches right there, and it crosses right there. How many is that? Well, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So we have 4 real zeros. Okay, and let's go over what it's asking for, relative extremes. The extremes, okay? Top of our mountains, bottom of our valleys. So this is a min. This is a max. This is a min. This is a maximum. All right, so we have 4. And this means I have a negative something to the x to the 5th power. This is our highest degree because it's 4 plus 1. 5 is odd. Yes, it is. It has to have a negative coefficient. So it would look something like this. This is what our function would start looking like. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so let's do our degree. What is the degree of this guy? Well, let's look at the end behaviors. Are they in opposite directions or are they in the same direction? So if it's the same direction, this would be even. Okay, so here it is an even, okay, degree. Okay, next is the leading coefficient. Is it going to be negative or positive? So our leading coefficient is, so right side points down, left side points down. So this one would be a negative leading coefficient. All right, our real zeros are what crosses the x-axis. So when y equals 0 or a function equals 0, where does it cross the x? How many do I have real zeros? I would have 3. Okay, and here, be very careful. This is asking only for our max values, our relative max values, not global. Global is the highest one that you have. So this is a max here. Okay, top of a mountain, top of a mountain. These are both relative maximums. There's 2 of them. This is the global maximum. That means it's the highest one, okay? So how many maximums do I have? 2. But how many relative? If I had relative, it would mean 1, 2, 3, max, minimum, maximum. This one wouldn't count because it's not going from increasing and then changes to decreasing. So this is not a relative max or min. So that means I have 3, right? So that means I have a x to the 4th polynomial. It's even, yep, check, it's even. And then it would have a negative leading coefficient, which I don't know if it has a number up in the front, okay? So this is what you're going to need to know in order to do your delta math. Okay, your assignment for today is to copy down the notes, and then you have a homework assignment, which is to copy or to complete 5 questions on the delta math. Okay, I'll talk to you next time. Have a great day. Bye.